Alright, today we're doing a little video about square foot gardening. So essentially right now I'm just building my frame. It's just started. And I have, usually come 4x4, and you can actually buy pre-built kits, which is, if you want to do that, that's quite alright. I'm going to be making my own, and I have a 6 foot by 4 foot garden. I figured that would be best. And these are 2x8s, so 2x8x4 and 2x8x6. And I just went to a local hardware store and just had them cut it to length. This is treated wood, which I wouldn't recommend, but I couldn't find any wood that was untreated that would not rot. So I'm going to buy that, and I bought a weed barrier. I'm going to try and just separate the wood as much as possible from the plants. The wood company has a little pamphlet that they put out that says, "Hey, it's not bad for plants, but you know, like I would trust them." So we're also after this, I didn't buy exactly like you're supposed to have vermiculite, peat moss, and potting soil, I think. Didn't buy quite those quite yet. I bought something quite like those. Vermiculite is expensive and hard to find, I guess. So essentially right now, I also bought 3-inch, number 10 3-inch screws, wood screws. I just dipped those in, and as you can see, I haven't finished it quite yet. But we're also going to be putting a fence around it, and I thought of a somewhat good way, I think, for us to have a fence around it and easy access to the garden itself. As you can see, we need a fence for this little girl right here. She likes to eat things, I guess, and dig. So isn't that right, Ellie? So that's why we need a fence. But other than that, let's go ahead and finish this frame. All right, got the wooden frame together with the 3-inch screws, and next this is the weed guard or weed block that we bought, and with the staple gun we're just stapling the weed guard inside of the garden so that we can since it's sitting directly on the lawn, we want to make sure that no weeds come in from the lawn, no grass grows in from the lawn up into our garden. So alright, so as you can see, we're on to the next part of this. We now have a fence post. This is a 4 foot, probably best to have a 3 foot because that's what our fencing is. But now that all the backing is down, we're attaching these using framing brackets to our 2x8s. So as you can see, these are framing brackets, like $1.49. I did widen out one of the holes. I'm only doing 2 holes per bracket. That should be all I need. And I did widen out the holes since I had 1/2 inch nuts, or bolts, so I had to widen those out, but works just fine. So we're going to go ahead and attach at least 6 of these, and I'll show you how we're going to access this easily. Okay, and here is the finished product. So essentially there's right now there's just 6. I could have done 8 stakes, but I decided 6 is probably enough. So there's a nice fence around there. You can't staple the fence to this bottom part, so there's a little bit of a gap there, which isn't the greatest, but just staple it as low as possible so that there's not much in between. So, which I didn't do at first, but so essentially we have 2 cuts in the gate. It's on this corner right here. See, they overlap. Nice thing about rolling. And cut here. So essentially what happens is when you need access to this, you're going to go ahead and you're going to go to this stake right here, pull it up, and then you essentially just pull it around this way. And let's go back and get a better view of that. So there you go. You have full access on this side, and of course you can pull up this stake too. Any of these stakes you can pull up and roll around. So if you want to access from this side, since this is a 4 foot long bed, sometimes that can be a little bit much. You just pull up this stake and go around, and then you have access to the entirety of the garden. So that's how you build that with a fence. And next we'll be covering, probably in a different video, we'll be covering adding soil to this and getting started with planting.